Good evening everyone and welcome to a new weekly market review. This is ATFX Weekly Report. My name is Gonzalo and I'm here with you to share the last updates and a full review, full picture of what happens this week on the market. I'm gonna share with you the macro data. I'm gonna share with you also the geopolitical perspectives, interpretations. We're gonna take a look also on what's going on in the crypto industry, digital assets industry in US. Because I found for you a very tough and controversial article from the Fortune Crypto magazine, which is mentioned the concerns of the main industry in US, the digital assets industry, crypto industry, with this internal war with the local regulator, with the SEC, with authority in US. We're gonna see that in detail. But mainly, what a weekend, what a last weekend. Remember when the whole world thought that Russia was going to a civil war, and after all it was abort. After all, oil market didn't respond, make any kind of reaction. I have been studying the numbers over the week just to give you some reference. But for example, something I shared on my social networks, on my private profile on Twitter, I was just sharing a few numbers. One of them was the Soviet Union in 1987. It was producing around 11 million of barrels on oil daily. And because of the collapse of the Soviet Union, by 1992, they were producing almost half of that. It was producing 6 point something million of barrels daily. Very interesting topic, because it's giving to us that social instability, not just in Russia, also the Islamic revolution in Iran was also affecting the oil market. But in this case, the exceptional situation it was, if what we saw last weekend, it was a military cap, it didn't affect at all the oil markets. It was no reaction. Therefore, we can understand that if it's true that the price usually discount absolutely everything what is going on, in this case, the oil market was telling to you nothing is really happening right now. Other topic is what's going on this week on France, because the images we can see on social networks is disturbing. It's on fire basically. Anyways, this is weekly market report, so let's talk about macroeconomic, let's talk about markets. I would like to also take a look of how it's going the season. It's right now evening in London, and we got the US futures, American futures are right now Standard & Poor's SP 500 at 0.95% up. We also got Nasdaq 1.35% up. We got Dow Jones 0.62% up, which means basically that the market is responding to the data. What was the data? What was the macroeconomics data we received today? I will show you in a minute. Let's take a look also to German market. Europe, DAX 40 is 1.37% up. We got Euro Stocks 50 1.14% up, and my favorite local index, which is a Spanish one, 0.96% up. Still very interesting levels. We will see that, for example, in the cases like Euro Stock, you will see that it's touching completely the roof, the top of the market, a clear area of selling right now. This is German market. It's going up, but still, if you take a look in perspective, this is what I was mentioning with you guys and what I was sharing on my social networks. We got three uptrend movements here, but the thing is, every single movement is weaker and shorter than the previous one, which is a very bad signal in terms of price action. I mean, it's basically a sign of weakness in the market, right? We also got, and I share with you the chart, moving average cross on 4 hours candles, which it was giving an immediately bearish movement, and it was abort. It was abort by the macro data. So let's take a look to the macro data to see exactly what happens and what exactly the market interpreted about this. We got this morning the German unemployment change, which is 28,000 compared with the 13,000 expected. This is a very bad numbers. Actually, it's more than the double. So the labor market in Germany is getting weaker also. Something that is not a good news. Something is not positive. Still, the market is taking as a positive news. Why? Because this is my point of view. Okay, this is my opinion. The interpretation the market is doing based on these numbers is, well, hold on a second. if the labor German market is not responding well, if the unemployment rate is rising actually in Germany, which is the true, we were expecting 5.6% of unemployment rate, and the real number now is 5.7, slightly worse than the expectations, which means like if the labor market is getting weaker in Germany, it means the European Central Bank is not going to take further actions in terms of rising interest rates. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I'm saying that this is what the market is reading right now. It is celebrating as a good news the current bad news, right? So again, bad numbers are good news in terms of monetary policies, because they believe, they are reading here, that the Central Bank of Europe is not going to keep pushing interest rates up. Now, taking a look of the IPC, of the inflation rate in Europe, we also got bad numbers. Well, good numbers actually, because we got 5.4 versus 5.5 expected. This means that actually inflation rate is dropping, is decreasing, which is positive, is good. The annual numbers we got for June is 5.5 current number versus 5.6 expectations. So inflation is decreasing even further than the expectations. This is super positive, not so on. I mean, in this case, the reading that the market is doing on this, in my eyes again, is, hold on a second, if inflation is not rising, if inflation is even better than our expectations, then what's the point to keep rising interest rate in Europe? This is the main question that is moving the market. And if you don't believe me, you just need to take a look on the charts and see what was the response of European markets as soon as these numbers were released. Take a look here. It was massive breakout over the tops of maximum levels of the week. I give as a reference yesterday on my daily market review, I give as a reference 16,000 points in DAX 40 as a kind of barrier, as a kind of top to be breaking, and only if we see the price consolidating over that price, we could trust in that move. The reality, the results is the price was breaking out at levels and going even 150 points up. 150 points farther from the top of the maximum prices of the market for this week, which means like the whole picture is changing just today, Friday. It is true that Monday and Tuesday was negative sessions, like slightly selling atmosphere, right? By Wednesday they were trying to recover part of the price, partially rising at the open of the market. It was like 0.30, 0.20, 0.40% up, losing again the prices and so on for a couple of days. But now Friday, the whole picture changed. They are breaking out the maximums of the week. They are trying to recover the previous levels lost during the previous week. And this is what's going on in European market. You go there. Let me find for you the also Euro stocks, so we can take a look, because in Euro stocks is a very nice triple top, where I can find it. Let's check this one. Boom. Let me share the screen with you. Here we go. Take a look. Let's change to daily, even weekly, and you will see clearly. Look. What do you see here? I don't know you, but I see a super clear top on this range. So again, European market, Euro Stoxx 50 is showing to us a clear signals of we're touching resistance right now. What's the next move? What is the next move? I believe this uptrend we have seen during the last session of the week, during this Friday, is just a kind of last chapter, because we need to find some excuses to keep rising these prices for the next week. You see? Otherwise, we're gonna just facing the top of the whole, practically the whole year. So I'm just curious about. It's super interesting what's gonna happen next week with these top records. For those ones who are keeping various positions, probably still you can hold them to see what happens. Now let's take a look in terms of news. Well, I just mentioned equity market. Let's take a look also forex, and then we're gonna see also commodities. Let's do this. Let's take a look to dollar index, euro dollar. We're gonna take a look also in gold, oil, Brent oil, and Bitcoin. So let's start with dollar index. It's here. As you can see, if the response of the market based on the numbers, the good numbers in terms of inflation, because that's another one. Did I mention? I'm not sure if I mentioned the inflation numbers in US today. It was again PCE, the inflation index published by the Federal Reserve. It was actually lower than expected. 4.6 versus 4.7 expected. Again, inflation is dropping in US. Good news. And the million dollar question again for US is the same one. Hold on a second. If the inflation is dropping, why we need to keep rising interest rates? And don't worry, because I also gonna give to you a few quotes from Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell did this week on Wednesday during the central bankers meeting with the Bank of England, Bank of Japan, Central Bank of Europe, and Federal Reserve. During that meeting, Jerome Powell literally say, controlled inflation is one of the missions that we're supposed to complete. Which I don't know what you're reading on that words, but in my eyes, he's trying to say, if I'm the bad guy here, it's because this is what I'm supposed to do. If I keep rising interest rates, the coming seasons, the coming meetings, July or even September, is because this is what I'm supposed to do. As far as the interest rates are, well, in this case are just recovering, but in the case of Europe, for example, as far as the interest rates are below the inflation rate, the real interest rate is negative. The money is losing value in certain economical areas, and therefore, the only mission that central bankers need to do or commit is rise the interest rates to guarantee or to ensure that real interest rate is positive. The money is not losing value with the pass of the days, right? So again, it was good data. The answer of the dollar was just dropping. You see, dollar was dropping during this season just because the numbers were good in terms of inflation. To me, it's clear. The reading is Federal Reserve doesn't need to keep rising interest rates, and therefore, guys, dollar gonna get cheaper, not stronger, and therefore is losing the uptrend it was giving the index dollar against the rest of the market. Now, if this is true, and we take a look now to euro dollar, we're gonna see that euro dollar actually is dropping too, because the dollar is getting cheaper. But it is also true that inflation is dropping in European Union, and therefore the reading the market can do is like they're gonna stop the interest rates rising on Europe. They're gonna stop the interest rising in America, in United States. Is that true? Well, this is the reading the market can do. In both cases, what we do here, in my eyes, is not exactly a bullish market. You see, we got two recent situations when the euro dollar was quoting above that levels, and still today with this good news, it's not rising over that levels. And if you take a look on the 50 moving average, it's getting flatter, 50 and 200, which means like sooner or later we're probably gonna see that they start to bend and take a negative pending, right? And then therefore the market gonna start to give us a new trend. It's very interesting to check now this view with the gold. So let's take a look on the gold charts. And remember, by the end of this chartist report, I'm gonna give to you a few news about what's going on. I'm gonna just share with you a few articles that you can take a look. Now gold is super interesting too, because you see it's recovering from yesterday. It was dropping a lot. It was just losing this $1,910 per ounce. It was losing, and even we went to lowest. What was the lowest level here? $1,893 per ounce. Since then and today, gold is recovered at certain levels. It's going now to 1920, so it's $1,920 almost per ounce, and it's gonna find there probably a top, which is the 50 moving average. But still, if we take a look in perspective, guys, guys, look, what a nice range. The price is just making what is expecting in this channel, you know. It's from 2,000 to 9,900, $2,000. Even, yeah, dilatations on the price on $2,050, $2,070. Anyways, $2,000 to $1,650. And this is the business, this is the deal. The goal is here. So probably the gold gonna keep dropping until $1,870 and target even in $1,800. Please remember, I'm not trying to give you any kind of advice. I'm just sharing my opinion with you. The purpose of this market report is not telling you what to do with your savings, with your money. And please remember, financial markets are risky market. If you are considering to invest in financial market, please consult your financial advisor first. Okay? Saying that disclaimer, let's keep talking about this. Well, I think in the case of the gold, this chart is super clear. You don't need to be an expert to understand what's the movement of the price and what we can expect. Let's take a look to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, sorry for that excess of lines on the chart, but if we take a look closely, it's super interesting too, because Bitcoin, my friends, are resisting. Bitcoin is keeping this trend. You see, it was about to lose the $30,000 per Bitcoin, and it's still holding there, because at some point, even today, was losing the $3,000 Bitcoin. We were in 29,500, and here we go again. Is still grabbing the $30,000 Bitcoin, which in my eyes is a clear sign of resistance, you know, and strength. Taking consideration that Bitcoin for the last few months, this year 2023 is the first time that Bitcoin is acting as a real safe haven market. Like whatever is going on, it was acting until 2023 in correlation with financial assets. Since then, we have seen financial assets dropping in certain occasions and Bitcoin rising or keeping lateral, holding his position. Really well done on this asset, and very big promises on this one. Take a look on the oil. We got the Brent oil on the screen. It's $75.75 per barrel, and the truth is we have been crossing this one. Let me make a long-term perspective with weekly candles, and you will understand what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing $68 to $70 is a super strong and stable barrier, a pivot point, if you want to say, kind of a bottom, strong and important bottom, keeping there that I think it was on 2011 when we break out these levels. You see, it was no, even early, October 2000, well, basically 2010. The price was rising to the top of $125, and since then, only in 2014 they lost those levels. Therefore, and that's what I mean, we got a massive important bottom levels support in the area of $62 to $70 per barrel in Brent oil. Okay, very important, very interesting. Why? Because you can simply just I mean, some traders gonna probably try to find here pending orders. I'm sure this is full of pending orders. Actually, you know that it's full of pending orders if you take a look to the candles. Is all of them are full of this tiny tails, right? That tails just indicate you that anytime the price is dropping, many orders, buy orders, are filling the gap and closing the candle above those levels. Okay, very interesting, super interesting topic. Yeah, I think we are done with the chart size, right? I have give you a review on almost all equities, SP 500, DAX 40, Eurostoxx 50, gold, Bitcoin, dollar, Eurodollar, and oil. Now, I want to share with you a few news, just your political perspective, international economy, what is going on this week. I just highlight few things, right? First thing, do you remember what happens the past weekend? Of course you do. It was that kind of military rebellion or military coup in Russia, right? Well, everything mysteriously was solved in a few hours by a kind of agreement. So the Wagner troops, the Wagner army, was expulsed, I will say. It was just taken out from Russia. Just keep in mind that this kind of army, private army, the Wagner troops, were located in the east of Russia, right? It was located in the east border between Russia and Ukraine. Because of this military coup, because of this rebellion, Russian government moved them or offered them to move to Belarus. But the thing is, Belarus is the north border of Ukraine and is also in contact with the rest of the European continent. Therefore, it's much dangerous to get these troops in Belarus than in the east of Ukraine. From a NATO perspective, I mean, from the rest of Europe. That means that today we got actually war risk in Europe. I mean, the answer from NATO was clear. They sent 4,000 troops, permanent troops, German troops, to Lithuania, what they call Baltic Eastern Flank. They want to cover that eastern flank, sending 4,000 troops, German troops, to Lithuania, just to cover that angle. I think the worst thing we can do at this point is just take a look on the map. To see exactly the countries and the borders there, because it's super interesting. Let's see. Here we go. Let me see if I can put this one in a full screen. I think so. Here we go. So if you consider that, maybe no, I cannot draw, or maybe I can draw on this one. Let me check. Yes, I can draw on this one. Okay, if you consider that the Wagner troops were located here, and after the rebellion, when they were just moving all the way up to Moscow, the deal a few hours later was, okay, you know what, we are not going there, and Russian government offered them to stay in Belarus. Now, if you take in consideration that they are moving by this part to Belarus, they are now in contact with Lithuania, with Latvia, with Poland. So now this is the borders of NATO. The topic is getting super risky, super dangerous, and also very interesting, but dangerous again. So the decision from NATO was sent from Germany, 4,000 soldiers to this border, to Lithuania with Belarus. So I guess the game here is gonna be, if by any chance these guys move to Kiev. Remember, Kiev is here in the north. Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, is here in the north. If by any chance this Wagner group try to take the capital of Ukraine by the north, they maybe, in case of any interaction with NATO could just go over Belarus. Oh, I hope, I'm crossing my fingers, right? I'm crossing my fingers. I hope this will never happen, because if by any chance NATO troops cross the border and go to Belarus, the Third World War is there. Okay, it's starting. Now, so yeah, I was just sharing with you all these details. Is here the articles. You can find few more details explaining this. Germany to permanently station 4,000 troops in Lithuania. This was published by Euroactiv. You can read here. Germany will help prompt up NATO eastern flank further by permanently stationing 4,000 additional soldiers in Lithuania. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius announced on Monday, reversing a previous policy. Berlin leads to so-called enhanced forward presence in Lithuania, a mission set up by NATO in 2017 to protect its eastern border against rising threats from Russia. Guys, take a look to this article, very interesting. Also, if you want to see these things in more detail, Zero Heads is a very controversial blog that is usually giving to you links and additional details. Okay, but again, I think this is a kind of answer that NATO is giving to the fact that Wagner troops have been moved to the north, and now they are next to Kiev and also next to the NATO borders. Another interesting topic related with this in some way is also that Macron this week has been pushing forward the deal to integrate Ukraine on the NATO. They clarify in this article that still we are considering that obviously Ukraine cannot join NATO while she is in a war conflict with Russia. During the war, as far as the war is ongoing, we cannot join, Ukraine cannot join NATO. Well, let me tell you something, this is only on the paper in theory. Why? Because we have seen many times how they break in the rules and just act impulsively and decide what to do from now to tomorrow. Well, this is fine, we can change the rules now. Just has a kind of reference. Don't forget that the president of European Union, in this case Ursula von der Leyen, few days ago was saying in a speech, literally speaking, Ukraine is part of European Union. Ukraine is part of European Union. She said literally that during her speech. You can find the speech, you can find that, and so on. She was just expressing the support of Europe, Ukraine, and she said Ukraine is part of European Union, literally. Therefore, regardless what's the request that one country is doing to join this European Union, many countries have been applied for membership of European Union for many years, right? Don't ask Turkey. Turkey was applying for European Union membership for many years and it was rejected. But Ukraine, for political reasons, now it's on. It's okay, consider it done. And they also say during the speech that it's done, even when they know that by law it has to be approved by the rest of the members. So this is just an example of how these rules, between brackets, rules can be breaking if it's needed politically, say something like that. So that's why I won't be surprised if tomorrow they decide they can just join Ukraine in the NATO. Okay. Few things extra. One thing I was sharing also in my personal profiles this week, it was very interesting topic. The New York Post was publishing this, and then the New York Times ratified this in an article that we got over here. It's basically how the President Biden could be involved in certain cases. There is two sources, two links from agents from the IRS, which is the tax agency in US, who declared this week, early this week, they declared that based on their research, the son of the President of the United States received $5 million from a Chinese businessman. And not only that, they estimated it was $10 million, and based on the WhatsApp cross with that businessman, he was mentioned someone sitting next to him who will be very disappointed with them if they don't do what they was agreed. So the message crossed and published by New York Post. You can find also the original article by New York Post. They literally quote the message, and the message is giving to you the idea that he was just pushing some Chinese businessmen to receive certain favors, right, in terms of money. The interesting thing by this controversial news is the IRS, these agents, say that the agents and lawyers from the Department of Justice, they were not even helping them to find out what was true or not. They say, the agents from the IRS say that the agents from the Department of Justice was actually, some of them, trying to interrupt the research or the investigations on the Biden's family. Okay, which is, I mean, it's blowing your mind if you think this, and it's not in media. So, in a shocking display of transparency for the nation's primary mainstream media outlet, the New York Times has independently fact-checked claims by a whistleblower with the International Revenue Service, the IRS, alleging that Justice Department officials worked to steer his agency's investigation into tax fraud by Hunter Biden. The New York Times conclude that the whistleblower was indeed telling the truth. Wow, boom, incredible. Okay, you got the title of the article. It's just quoting the New York Times article, which the title is here. Competing accounts of Justice Department's handling of Hunter Biden case. And if you want to find the reference one, is Trading Politics. The name of the article is NYT New York Times, confirms IRS whistleblower allegations that Department of Justice obstruct Hunter Biden proof. Amazing. Amazing, because these topics actually can move. I mean, any controversial events that affect the political class in US can affect the market for sure. Don't forget what happens with impeachment to Donald Trump. Dollar was dropping in 2017 and the market was dropping to this situation. Last article I found this week for you, and I found really interesting, is, you will read now, how upset digital and crypto industries are getting in US against the authorities. Let me read it for you. They say Security and Exchange Commission SEC Chair Gary Gensler is in the minds of relentless crusade against the American digital asset industry, despite the industry's repeated calls for the SEC to issue clarifying rulemaking and guidance. The law governing digital assets remain unacceptably opaque. This is the main complaint. This is why Coinbase took to the court the Security Exchange Commission, the SEC. They took them to the court because they was demanding from them a rule book. Basically just a kind of framework to work on. What kind of rules have to be applied in the industry so we can follow ABC rules, and you cannot actually hunting us by breaking these rules. But we demand to get these rules clear, black on white on the paper. That was the main case. The SEC recent strikes against leading companies such as Coinbase make it clear that Chairman Gensler goal is to make crypto illegal in America. To make crypto illegal in America with such clear bias and such dereliction of the basic tenets of the process, the agency cannot fairly supervise the digital assets industry. So the whole article is just giving a kind of a really tough critical view on how exactly the authorities are regulating these kind of assets in US. I just want to remind you that the CEO of Binance say maybe like a month ago, maybe a couple of months ago, I don't remember exactly, but I just published on the social news also his quote. But he say that they are leaving US because it's not the right place to make business anymore in terms of crypto industry. And this article is, well, you have seen already. This article is really hard attack and has no mercy with these actions with the authorities in US, because literally they say they are not capable to regulate this kind of assets if they don't have any they don't establish any rules in advance to prove exactly what should be the regulation, the framework on these cases. Okay. Anyways, thank you for following this report. Thank you for your views. I hope you enjoy the report, the whole report. I hope you actually subscribe to this channel to follow the coming ones. I'm doing also in Spanish. My name is Gonzalo Cañete. You can maybe find them if you understand Spanish. This is not my first language, as you can see, but I do my best to just transfer to you the top most interesting news of the week, and I also share with you in the screen all of them so you can find them and read in detail all the articles. A part of that, closely looks on the charts, on the markets, to see what is going on. Super interesting week, and let's see how I start the next one, because I think it's not really clear that the ending course of the market is going to be up. It's not clear yet, and we need to see what exactly happens the next week after this super magnific, powerful and positive expectations created during this macroeconomic data on Friday 30th of June. Okay, see you next week, hopefully. Take care. Bye bye.